Let's start with today's viewer question. This comes from Kelly. She's 41. She lost weight on OMAD, and a year ago, she lost nearly 50 pounds. Way to go, Kelly. But she tried it again this year and started running into the problem that some have, and that is the problem of low blood sugar. She feels shaky, she feels depressed, she feels hangry and ornery, and she feels like there's this air hunger sensation in her chest and in her abdomen. She loses the ability to focus at work. She loses her ability to pay attention during conversations, and basically she wants to pass out. So she went to check her blood glucose, and it was something around 55, which of course, if you don't know, is way too low. Now, most people, when you go to fast, your blood sugar is going to maintain between about 70 and 90. If you are a healthy male or female, that's where your blood sugar is going to be. If you are struggling a bit, if you have something like Dawn phenomenon, or you have potentially a liver problem or an autoimmune condition firing up or about to fire up, you'll start to get over 100 when you fast, which really isn't good. If you were fasting and you were over 120, even over 100, that's a concern. But if you're over 135, then that's a problem. Fasting is not for you. OMAD is not for you. Find something else that you can do. Just track your calories and live with the rest of what I offer on this channel, the principles of self-control, which will do you just great, by the way. But for the rest of you, I'm talking to those of you who have a good insulin response. I'm not talking to diabetics, but you still have low blood sugar. There's an easy way to solve this problem. So Kelly is, like we said, 41. She's successfully used OMAD, but now that she's come back to it, she's finding that she's having these issues with low blood sugar. So assuming that fasting has been good to you and you know that it's something you can healthfully engage in, what's the problem here? Number one, she's fighting a losing battle, like we all are. We're all fighting a losing battle with age. This is why MMA fighters have to retire at about 38 or 40, because your body cannot heal as fast as it once could. This is why mothers who have children, when the mothers are 38 or 39 or older, they tend to have problems with the children. I am amazed today at how many mothers who are my age, who have 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, maybe 20-year-old kids, who are autistic or have some Asperger's or some developmental disorders. It's usually because that child was conceived when the mother was older. And if you think about it, in history, women had children at about 19 years old and at about 26 years old. After that, the mother's health is starting to climb down ever so slightly. And as a result, their offspring doesn't get the best chance at a happy, strong, well-bred life. And I hate to sound like a eugenics person, but it's really the truth of things. But that's the first problem. You're fighting a losing battle. We're all going to get older, best case scenario. I can look at the bottle, the fine print on this bottle now, and although I can still read it very well, I don't wear glasses or contacts, I still notice a difference between me 10 years ago and me today, because my eyes aren't quite as sharp. It takes a little longer to focus than I used to. No harm done. That's just the nature of aging and getting older. So this is the problem. This is what we're facing here. So you're fighting a losing battle. As you get older, your body's not going to be the same. That's the first problem. The second problem is this. The OMAD is working too well. Most people that find this channel, they find this channel because they have high blood sugar, they're eating too much, they're obese or overweight, and they have high blood sugar. A lot of people are referred here by one of the local doctors in the Houston area, now that I've been able to work with some good doctors and try some medication-free ways to get blood sugar under control. So they come to this channel and they find that fasting works too well. They drop their blood glucose in record time. If they're insulin resistant, meaning if they have a C-peptide score of 3 or greater, they're insulin resistant, but that quickly goes down. And their C-peptide and their insulin production goes way down. Well, that's what happens when we fast. When we fast, our body starts going into conservation mode, which means it dials back the production of insulin, it dials back our hormones, it dials back all of that. Conversely, when you start overeating a lot, your body becomes better at storing fat. So what happens? You get water. You start putting water all over your body. Your limbs get thicker, and you start noticing that you feel less. You feel heavier and more blocky and hotter because your body is scaling up the inflammatory process that is eating, and ultimately all eating is inflammatory. So that's the second problem, when it's doing it too well. But if you combine age and efficiency, your body starts to figure out what you're doing when you're fasting. If you fasted before, your body is going to say, hey, let's dial back our insulin production again. Well, now it's working against you because it's going to pull you too low. So your fasting glucose, instead of 70, has become 60 or 50. And as a result, it's no longer very good for you. So what you have to do is you have to help your body out. Have a sweet beverage. Coffee, tea, juice, even a soda, anything with a significant amount of 30, 40 something grams of sugar 30 minutes before your meal. And I don't mean eat, and I don't mean drink a protein shake. I don't mean anything, no fat, no protein. You're not chewing anything. You just want to sip something that is quickly absorbed by the blood-brain barrier and into your liver, a liquid. When you do this, and then you have a nice, small, responsible protein, low-carb meal 30 minutes after, your problem will be solved in the vast majority of cases. I have warned on this channel before, when you go about to lose weight on OMAD, you need to do so in a timely manner. You don't want to stay 2 years at a calorie deficit because that's hurtful for your body. You're going to start running into muscle loss. You're going to start running into hormonal issues. You're going to run into fibromyalgia symptoms because your body's going to become basically shriveled and weak. You don't want that. You want to keep yourself strong and utilize the principles of conservation, your body's natural ability to preserve itself without going too far. And that's basically what has happened here. The more you play around with OMAD, you have to be careful not to go back into binge cycles and yo-yo dieting, because when you do that, you're sending the body from one extreme to the other, and that's hard. It's like taking an object and getting it really, really hot and then throwing it in cold water, or getting it really cold and throwing it in hot water. It's going to break it. It's going to tax your cells. It's going to hurt you, basically. So you want to use wisdom when you fast, and you want to understand that if you are in a situation where your body's not healing like it used to, you're finding that your body is responding with low blood sugar, give it a little bit of help. Once you do this, you're going to find that your liver will start responding normally. So when you're hungry again throughout the day, your stomach will growl and you will be burning fat, but you won't be cutting into your low blood sugar. You won't have a 50-something, 60-something fasting glucose. Instead, it'll be about 74, where it's 70 before it belongs. So bear this in mind. I look at all of these fasting channels and I never see any warnings on this. Perhaps I've done everyone a little bit of a disservice by not talking about this more. But if you are experiencing low blood sugar and you know that up to now fasting has been really good to you, hey, give yourself a little help. You're not going to hurt your weight loss results, by the way. You'll speed them up. When your body is in the correct optimal range for weight loss, when your hormones and your metabolism is working properly, then you're going to be just fine. You're going to lose actually faster. You're going to maintain your vitamin D3 levels. You're not going to lose them like a lot of people do. If you're in low blood sugar, you're actually burning off all of your good reserves, and you're going to end up putting your body in a big state of stress. So don't do that. Don't do that. Rely on sugar smartly. Don't do it stupidly. You're not relying on sugar, and you don't have to do this every day. But you can even do this if you feel like you want to enhance your fasting journey right now, if you're not hypoglycemic or you're not diabetic. You can try this, and as you do it, as you need it, you'll find that you can fast better. You stay into an optimized fat-burning zone a lot better. So this is another blow to those who think that sugar is the cause of all weight gain. It's not. Your brain needs glucose, and you can benefit from it greatly. So don't be afraid of low blood sugar. If you're running into it, treat it like I'm telling you here. If fasting is something that you found that you've been able to do but you can't lately, it's usually because your body's reacting too well to it. And with just a little modification, you can do a little biohacking and get back on track.